We have given the war to the dragons.
Hey everybody, I'm Josh and welcome back to another review. Today we're going to be talking about House of the Dragons Season 2. The finale just aired, so this is going to be all spoiler review. We're going to talk about the finale, we're going to talk about the whole season as a whole, and I'm going to give you my rating at the end of what I thought of this season. But let's first get into the finale, which the finale, as I thought, was great. I thought it was a really great episode, probably like my third or second favorite of the whole season. I think my favorite episode of this season was the Battle at Rook's Rest, though, with the big dragon fight. Rhaenys dying. I think that was easily the best battle in this season, the best episode in the season. But the finale was great. I thought that we ended on a very strong note. The first half of this episode did have me a little bit worried that we weren't going to really get anywhere. I thought it was just just lingering on for a little too long. But that second half pushed into third gear and we just kept going. My biggest points about this episode were that Daemon, he had a vision. He saw like the Game of Thrones plot, and this is kind of a spoiler for me because I still haven't seen the Game of Thrones show, but I do plan to watch it. I do plan to pick up the books for that. I'm reading a Mistborn series right now. It's really great by Brandon Sanderson, but he saw the plot, saw like the winter is coming, saw like the Frost King, I think that's who it is, like the Ice King guy. He saw all that, and he saw like destruction is coming. This war we're in right now is just the beginning. More is to come. I thought that was a really cool scene right there. And you saw kind of Helena talking about, to add to kind of she saw Elena talking to Aemond about what she saw, what she's envisioning. A lot of foreshadowing in this episode, which I did appreciate. She's like, you won't make it out of God's eye. And if you don't know that plot point, I got that plot point spoiled for me, but I don't spoil what happens in God's eye. One of the best moments in this episode and the entire season, though, was Daemon finally bending the knee for Rhaenyra. Daemon's the king at Harrenhal now, raised his army. Rhaenyra comes and he's like, who do you worship? Who do you bend your knee to? Who's your queen? Who's your king? And he finally bends the knee and says, I bend the knee for you, Rhaenyra. It's truly a big moment for this season and for Daemon as a character. And when he said, no mercy, we fight for our queen, and everyone bended the knee for him and her, I was like, this is hype. This is just a great scene. I was super hyped up. I was like, let's go to war. Let's go to battle. This is great. It really is great. And then you had kind of like the end of the episode, you had Alicent going to meet Rhaenyra, basically saying like, I messed up. This is kind of like all my fault. And Rhaenyra's like, yeah, I know you did mess up. And she's like, I will come back and all that. What I kind of got from it is she's like, I need Aegon's head and all that. And Alicent's like, nah, I can't do that for you. So they both go their separate ways. But I did love that conversation with them. I did like that conversation more than the earlier conversation. It's kind of funny. They both went to each other's homes to talk to each other. Rhaenyra went to King's Landing, and then Alicent went to Rhaenyra at that one certain point. But right at the end of the episode, they end it on such a big cliffhanger. And I will say the season is kind of like a setup season compared to what's to come next season, because that end of the episode, everyone on this planet, in this realm, is ready to go to battle on the seas, on land, on dragon. It's going to be insane. The setup is completed. Now time for all the battles. So I think season 3 is going to be huge. I mean, they're probably going to have a huge budget on that. I think they did start filming, or I think they're going to start filming soon. But the 2-year wait for that season, it's going to be crucial. I'm like, I need that season right now. I want it right now. But as I said, season 2 was more of setup, which is kind of disappointing, which makes me believe that season 1, I think, was still the better season and the better paced season overall, because the biggest issue with the second season was that it felt like it was going nowhere for a certain amount of time. Like, some episodes just felt a little lackluster in what they should have been like. The dialogue was great and conversations were interesting, but I never felt like the political side moved as much as it did in the first season. And I think one of the reasons why the first season was so strong was that there were time jumps, different actors playing different people in the same, and I felt like the same sense was that just a lot more was happening, a lot more was moving, so you could focus on so many different things. And there was a lot more action in the first season, especially like sword action, duels and all that. But the dragon dragon action in this season was definitely the highlight for me, especially, as I said, the stuff at Rook's Rest, with the death of Rhaenys, the fight with Aemond and Aegon. But there wasn't enough of that. I wish there was going to be more of it. I think that was probably because of budgeting concerns. There was like 2 big action sequences this season, when last season there was a lot more. So hopefully, as we already saw, that season 3 is going to have many more action sequences. Hopefully Rhaenyra will finally take back King's Landing. But yeah, let's talk about some character development here. we're going to talk about some of the major characters. First, let's talk about Daemon and Rhaenyra because they're kind of like the big couple in the show. Daemon, sadly, he's kind of changed. He's changed for the better at the end of this season, but at the beginning, he was in Harrenhal for like 7 or 6 of these 8 episodes, which was really disappointing. Just felt like we're in Luigi's mansion. He's being haunted almost every episode. You saw a lot of people getting mad on Twitter, on TikTok about this. I feel like that plot line could have been wrapped up in a clear maybe 3, 4 episodes instead of like 6 episodes. It just felt like they didn't know what to do with him. He's a lot more badass than they made him be in the second season. Just felt like it was a big misstep for him, but as I said, the finish with him was great. I don't know how to feel about Rhaenyra because I feel like she didn't get as much to do this season, and that's probably because she's the queen and can only command people to do stuff. Emma D'Arcy, though, I thought was great, especially in the first episode. I thought that she was really commanding, and she had like hardly any speaking lines in that first episode. Alicent, though, I think was my favorite character this season. I feel as if she is coming around to how she was wrong in the whole situation of who was supposed to be king after Viserys died. And she finally sees that she means nothing to anyone since she isn't the sitting queen on the throne anymore. She gets quite emotional too after learning that her other son, Daron, is kind because, he grew up differently. He grew up not in her care. And the ones that grew up under her, Aegon and Aemond, are not kind. They're pretty mean people, mean-spirited people. So she gets emotional. She starts to change, her feelings, her thoughts about this whole thing going down. I thought like the moments with her were quite great. And, she has this relationship with Kristen Cole, which was pretty interesting to see how that led to, what Kristen Cole's development with his character is, because he's the most hated character in the show. I mean, people posted mean comments to Fabian, who plays him in the show under his Instagram. He had to limit that, which is horrifying. He's just an actor. But I think that, even though he is my most hated character, he added a lot of more layers to Cole this season. Sure, he's still quite annoying and a hypocritical character, but I believe in the finale he finally got some sense knocked into him. Let's talk about the two brothers, Aegon and Aemond. Aegon, even though that I don't like Team Green, Aegon is really funny. He's a really funny guy, especially in that first half. He's just having fun as the king, and he's trying to make everything fair for people, but then he learns that he really can't do that. He really can't make everything fair. But his conversation with Lair Strong after he got horribly burned were particularly well done. I did like that because he lost all hope at that point. Aemond, I hate Aemond. I hate him, but I think he's leveled up as a character. He's really badass, takes everything for himself. He's like, I want to do this, so I'm gonna go do it. He is basically the biggest dragon, so he really doesn't care what he does. His dragon can do anything. Vhagar is a menace. She is just massive. You can just see how much he wants the power in the moment at Rick's Rest too with Aemond. He would have killed his brother if Kristen Cole wasn't there. He would have done it. So Aemond really just wants the power for himself and all that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the characters' developments this season. My favorite character was Alicent. I thought she had some great development. Daemon, least interesting. I felt like he got the short end of the stick, but as I said, in the end, in the finale, I thought that he really came around to being who he was again. I will say the set design and costumes this season are still brilliant. It looks like we were transported into another realm. This and Shogun have like kind of topped the crafts category for this year. But overall, season 2 of House of the Dragon is still a strong, amazing season in my eyes. I feel like this show is just giving us some really great content. Not as good as season 1, but I still did love where we went and love where we ended. Even though some stuff in the middle was a little bit too slow for me, I'm still going ahead and give season 2 of House of the Dragon a weak 9 out of 10. It's not as strong as season 1. I think season 1 I would have given it like a 9.5 or a 10. But season 2 still ends on such a high note. I gotta give it that 9 out of 10. But let me know down below in the comments, what did you guys think of House of the Dragon season 2? Leave your thoughts down below. If you did enjoy my review though, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, come back for more reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.